Hey kids, it's the Mr. and Fly here, hope you're well. Well, it's an important milestone day for me today because it's exactly 3 years since I bought this, the R1200GS. Absolutely love the bike, I've had a great year with it. If you stick around and stay tuned, this is kind of my annual update, my 3-year long-term review if you like, and I'm going to tell you what I've done with it, what I've done to it, and how much it's cost. So let's head back to the man cave and I'll tell you all that stuff.
So I've had a great year again with the GS. I love the bike. It's my sort of daily go-to rider. If I just need to nip down the shops and buy something, or just it's me going somewhere, then this is the bike I tend to go on. Also, of course, I do my trips and tours on it. I failed miserably to get to either Scotland or Europe this year, which is something that I want to do, maybe next year. But I have done plenty of tours in the UK. Check out my trips and tours playlist if you want to have a look at those. I think the longest one I probably did was the ride back from Land's End back to here in Buckinghamshire. That was about a 9-hour day in the saddle. Thoroughly enjoyed it, lovely weather, really good, even though there's quite a bit of motorway involved in there. That was a great trip. So yeah, been a good year on the bike. I've done about 15,000 miles in total now, which may not sound like a lot to you, but bear in mind I have got other bikes and a couple of cars, so I only use this for part of the time. Okay, so much of what I've done with the bike. What have I done to the bike? What are the changes this year? Okay, so I haven't actually changed that much on the bike this year. I've added a couple of things, taken some things off and changed some stuff. So first of all, the grip buddies. I did a little video about this. These are just these grips that I put on. They do, I was worried they were going to saturate in the rain and keep hold of the moisture, which they do, but it dries out pretty quickly. And actually it gives you such a good wider grip. That was an excellent addition for about 15 quid. So recommend those. That was a great addition. Something I changed actually was the exhaust. I did have on here an Arrow aftermarket exhaust, which was a lot louder. It sounded mean, but I found that on some of the longer journeys, especially when you're on motorways, that sound just became a bit wearing, and I kind of craved after a quieter pipe. I never thought I was going to say that, but there we go, that's what happened. So I've put the original pipe back on, and actually, even though I criticised this originally when I put the Arrow on, I think I prefer the looks of it. It's just a little bit better around the shroud that covers the pipe work and so on. So really pleased having put that back on, so that was another change. Another couple of things that I did which may strike you as a bit odd. One was I removed the radiator covers. I fitted those. They were Go Gravel radiator covers because I noticed that the temperature seemed to go up and down a bit on the bike with them on there. Now I don't know if it's just because I was watching the temperature more closely than normal or whether it always does that, but I took those off anyway because, to be honest, I don't go off-road on this machine anyway. I've never had a radiator have problem with stones and gravel going in before, and frankly shedding weight I think is a good thing when you've got a big bike like this. So those came off, and to be honest I haven't noticed that the temperature really has stabilised at all, but they've gone anyway. And then on a similar vein, the headlight cover, I had put a Go Gravel headlight cover on the front. I've removed that as well because, again, I've never had a headlight crack in my life riding motorcycles, and again it's just a bit more weight, not a lot of weight, but it was the main problem with it was a bit of a pain to clean behind. You know, the thing was always dirty looking, so that went as well. So that was another thing I removed. As far as other changes are concerned, I had to have its first MOT this year, as I mentioned, and that meant that I needed a new front tyre. The front tyre had become a bit worn, so after 15,000 miles, that's the first time I've changed the tyre, so that's fine. So I've gone for an OEM Continental Trail Attack on the front again, and also the rear brake pads, they had worn down to about 75% of their wear had gone, and that's the second set of brake pads I've had on the bike since I've had it. So it seems to eat, for some reason, rear brake pads. I don't quite understand. I realise the brakes are linked on these, but nonetheless you'd still think the fronts would take more of a hammering. But nonetheless, rear brake pads went on as well as part of the MOT. So that's the changes for the bike this year. How much has all that cost me, and what's been the cost of ownership? Okay, so to cost then this year, and this is excluding fuel, the total cost or the total spend that I've had on the bike. I've had to write these down. First of all, tax. I pay £7.09 per month for that, so that adds up to £84.96 a month for road tax. Insurance. Always difficult for me to tell you on that because I have this on a multi-bike policy together with my Honda. So I've just halved the cost, and insurance was £98.07. That's half the insurance cost, as I say, with the Honda. Servicing wise, and this was the annual service at a dealer, which included the rear brake pads. That was £356.59 at a BMW dealer. The new front tyre that I mentioned, £108.26 fitted, and the grip puppies, they were £14. So if you add that lot together, and the MOT, sorry, which was £29.65 on the bike. So add that lot together, and that means this year the bike has cost me, excluding fuel, £691.53, or say £700 to keep the thing going. So is that expensive? Don't know. I need to do the same calculations for the other bikes and compare, but it seems reasonable to me for a year's fun. Okay, so much for cost then. How's the bike fared generally? Well, overall, I seem to be averaging about 52 miles per gallon, which seems pretty good to me. The bike is absolutely riding lovely, and particularly after I had the service. Often when you have things serviced, you don't notice any difference and you wonder what you spent your money on. But this time around, for some reason, the bike just felt lovely after the service, really nice and smooth. I was really pleasantly surprised about that, so that's been great. What else to mention? Oh yeah, no signs of wear and tear particularly that I can see. I do look after the bike, and I put it mainly down to ACF 50 actually. In the winter, I liberally cover it in ACF 50 at least twice through the winter. It's already had the first dose this year, and that just keeps everything looking spangly and corrosion free. I really do recommend that to you. So I've read and I've heard of other owners of these bikes that have had issues with corrosion on the engine casing, for example. I've got none of that, and I just think that's down to liberal use of ACF 50, so recommend that to you. So I guess to summarise, next year I need to get out on the bike a bit more and do some proper long tours. So Europe and Scotland very much in my mind. And then the other thing I suppose is, okay, I've had it for 3 years now. Often you get a bit of an itch for a new bike, don't you, every now and then? Do I want to get rid of it? Well, I've been riding all sorts of other bikes to try and see what's out there, and to be honest, there's still nothing I've found that's better than the GS. So I think I'm going to be sticking with it for another year.
Okay, so there we have it. That's my 3-year long-term ownership review of the R1200GS. Still loving the bike, and I fully expect to be doing a 4-year ownership review with you this time next year. So I hope that's been of some interest, and look forward to speaking to you next time. Until then, this has been the Missenden Flyer. Cheerio.